Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here as we do a deeper comparison between the dual fire from Recteq and the offset smoker from Moberg. Hey, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, let's jump right into this. Now, just to recall a few things from the last video. From Sonny Moberg himself, it's all about convection. It's all about the aerodynamics. And yeah, that great line runs right down the middle. And there's a heat baffle on one end next to the firebox, and yeah, it forces the convection flow of air up and above, but it also has a flow that goes underneath, okay? And these two basically combine to form what I call a radiant and convection reflector zone, all right? Now, that being said, the reducer elbow at the end, again, is a draft creator, and that aids to get a lot of volume coming through there. And it's the shape of everything that starts to give you this really interesting convection. But hey, trust your eyes on this. Take a look at the airflow. Now, as you look at this, you'll start to notice it is coming from both directions. Okay, not just from the firebox side, but also from that exhaust side. And that's because you got that flow underneath feeding back in, so that when you close this lid, you get a really interesting, tornado effect, if you will, of smoke hitting from both sides. And it's all thanks to how well positioned this baffle is. And if you look at the exhaust, here it is in slow motion. It is just smooth flow coming out of this. I gotta tell you, this is a really interesting system that Sonny Moberg has set up, just very dynamic. So with some appreciation of the science behind us, okay, it's turkey time. And yeah, I'm using my go-to rub, that Black's Barbecue rub from Black's Barbecue out of Lockhart, Texas. Yeah, I know it's simple salt and pepper with a little cayenne and some red pepper flakes in there. But you know what? It does the job. Yep, once those are dusted, it's into the refrigerator overnight for dry brine. Now that next morning, we're ready to light it all up. This time, I'm going with cherry sticks, okay? Cherry wood for this one. And yeah, I'm kind of wrestling with this a little bit, trying to figure this out. But eventually what I settled in on is a Lincoln log to start this thing up. We're going to be trying to target a cooking heat of anywhere between 275 to 300 for the duration of this cook as I'm hitting the turkey. Now while that's getting going, I'm doing the final prep on the turkey. And yeah, that dry brine worked out fairly well. I got to tell you, it's starting to shape up. But I'm not done yet. I'm using that Heath Riles chicken injection, which is also good for turkeys too, or so I'm told. And yeah, that's my wife's blue water bottle, but it serves as a really good brine injection shaker. And I wash it out afterwards, so she's okay with it, I think. Anyhow, like the dentist, I'm going in from multiple angles from that one spot, and I'm just doing the injection through the breast and into the thighs and getting everything that I can just to kind of watch this plump up a little bit, try and get it moist. After that, I'm slapping on the John Henry's honey rib rub. Yeah, I know it's for ribs, but you know what? I've noticed this thing works great on chicken, and everything else. So that's where it went with it. Now, as far as the cook goes, okay, gonna get my Thermo Spike Pro wireless ones in place. And I'm putting the slightly larger one down on the hotter side of the Moberg. Okay, as I mentioned before, it's a little bit hotter on each end due to those reflection zones. And I'm doing similar here on the dual fire, putting the breast a little bit towards the hot side. And that's the side towards the exhaust. And yep, checking on the fire. Looks like we're in good shape. And yep, we're cooking right between that 275 and 300. And yep, we got that fluid exhaust coming out. And I'm just going to leave it right there. And I'm just going to let it go. And yeah, I got to tell you something. Cherry wood doesn't smell bad when it's, heating up and on fire there. Now, as far as the Recteq, I'm just sitting that at 300 and letting it go. And you know what? 3 hours later, we were close to done. In fact, we were like 15 minutes away from being done. Put the temperature probe into it, and it was feeling just right. So took that one out. We were done on the Recteq. Now from here, wrap that up in foil, And basically, I'm just going to let it rest inside of the indirect side of the dual fire, just to let it kind of start to cool down and whatnot. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other one once it's done. And you know what? It wasn't shortly long after this one was done too. Basically, about 30 minutes after, we were complete. And I got to tell you, it held temperature pretty well all the way through. Okay, that said, we're good for dinner. So I'm pulling both of these out, and I'm going to give you a closer look at these because, it just worked out well. And I drizzled a little bit of the drippings on there from the rest period, just to let that kind of soak in a little bit. I do that for my brisket. I don't know if it's going to help here, but anyhow, I did it anyway. And I got to tell you, they were looking and feeling really good. But here's what I thought at the time. Okay, this is the one off of the dual fire. This is the one off of the Moberg. They both smell fantastic. I mean, without a doubt, without a doubt. I mean, I can't wait to get into these. Now, the color was good on each of these, and I gotta tell you, the tenderness was pretty good on both of these as well. And when I cut up this one, here from the Moberg, very soft, smoke ring on there, and I think that obviously was from the cherry wood, that came in play. And I pushed a little bit of that, side, for me to, sneak a little nibble on here in a minute. But it carved up fairly easily, and came together fairly well. And I also had a guest coming over who tried some of it too. But first, I'm sneaking a bite, and I'm gonna just see how this thing is. So here's what I thought at the time as well. Now that is really good, really good, man. Oh yeah, this one's just falling apart. Now I gotta tell you, the dual fire is coming through strong. I mean, this is one moist, juicy turkey breast, without a doubt. So anyhow, I'm gonna give that a shot too, and I do. I cut off a little piece of that same piece that I did there. But you know what? I have to give this one to the Moberg. That one was good, but it just wasn't where the Moberg was. Well, you probably heard how word travels fast. So does smoke too. And my neighbors have, been on the receiving side of my, smokers in the back there. And, I think they finally decided to cash in and said, hey, look, I did some hunting up in South Dakota, and my freezer just isn't big enough for all this pheasant. Do you mind smoking up some of this pheasant? To which I said, you know what, for you, Alex, anytime. So, with that said, pheasant's in place. I am patting these things dry. I am, doing a little bit of final cleaning, on everything else that, was done to them. And, of course, I'm going in again with the John Henry's Honey Rib Rub. It's just a family favorite, okay? And I'm sitting here thinking about how I'm going to do each of these because there is quite a bit of pheasant. And so, in short, I came up with a little bit of a plan. Now, after getting these, somewhat seasoned and put together, let's try poppers. So yeah, I took the little, tenderloin piece out that's right there under the breast and went ahead and decided I was going to do some jalapeno cream cheese poppers. So I cored out the jalapenos, and the secret to not having them be so hot is to rinse them out under water. That way, you don't get, all that capsicum and heat coming through. You just get the pure jalapeno flavor. And then out comes the cream cheese. And yeah, I'm putting those inside of there. And then I'm going to top that with a little piece of the pheasant, okay? Just setting each one of those up. And of course, got to wrap it in bacon because otherwise it wouldn't be a jalapeno popper, at least not in our house anyway. So I get that all set up, and that's looking pretty good. And I went ahead and dusted that one more time with John Henry's, just so you know. Now, for the next part, going to do some pheasant bites. Now for these, I'm taking the pheasant breast and I'm cutting these into about 1-inch sections so that they round up pretty well. And again, because it's a game bird, there's not a lot of fat in it. So the fat coming onto this is the bacon that I'm wrapping up on top of that there. All right. And again, a gentle dusting of the John Henry's Honey Rib Rub and collecting, the birds of a feather there, and putting them together to rest in the refrigerator. Next, I'm going to do things a little bit different here. I've got some of that Vermont white cheddar Tillamook cheese, and we're going to go ahead and wrap the pheasant breast around that, okay? And then, of course, wrap that in bacon too. And by this time, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I love it when a plan comes together. And yeah, giving it another dusting out there. I think I may have used that whole bottle that time, but anyhow. So all that's together, looking good, resting well in the refrigerator, just letting those seasons bite in. And then, you know what? Thought hits me. More bacon. Let's wrap up those thigh and leg quarters with bacon, and we'll put that into play. Now, eventually, I not only smoked these and cooked them, but I braised them as well. Just keep that in mind. So, that being said, time to throw everything on the smoker. And in this case, I got half of these going on the dual fire and the other half, going into the Moberg. And we're just going to go ahead and lay those out. There's a lot of real estate on that Moberg, about 900 square inches of cooking space on those two grates combined. And again, a fair amount of space here on the dual fire when you consider the top and the bottom rack. But I put everything on the top rack here because that's where it gets the best smoke in my opinion. And before too long, we were done, yeah. And I had those rocking, roughly in that 275 to 300 range, and they were smelling great. So we were ready to eat. And yeah, my neighbor was over for dinner. And as you can see there, I braised them with a little bit of butter and a little bit of apple cider. And that worked out pretty well. And I went ahead and let him, have first dibs at whichever ones he wanted and served him up. I gave him basically a sample of everything with the exception of the jalapeno poppers. I kind of held those in reserve for me because I just, I don't know, I didn't want to appear selfish, but that's what I did. Anyhow, both of these came out great and it was a tie. I mean, it was just too difficult to pick between the two. Both had exceptional flavor, so a true tie. Okay, it's Zen time. Okay, so it seems like my neighbor Alex is the only one who's noticed my smokers.
Hey, I'm sorry about it. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you trying to order that smelling some good food back there?
Well, not yet.
I just had to ask, how much would you charge to sell me some of that?
I mean, do you have something you want to smoke?
Oh, not at the present moment, but yeah. Thank you. My name is Lionel, by the way.
I'm Trey.
Man. Nice to meet you,
Yeah,
Trey.
good to meet you. Y'all take care.
You're welcome.
And yeah, do me a favor, like and subscribe and give me some comments. Truly appreciate it.